I think we are lucky that we're in an era when cities appreciate the value of historic buildings. This was the site of where many of the survivors of the Great Earthquake and Fire actually gathered. And this building is one of the only buildings in the downtown that survived, primarily because it was filled with US currency, and the planners of the bank had put a lot of water under the site, and so they were able to fight off the fires. So historically, it's a very important site for the city because it's credited with saving the city and allowing the city to rebuild. Subsequent to that, this area went through a decline in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
This project was right at that moment of change where the city decided to embrace a more comprehensive agenda for a lot of building projects.
Frankly, we've developed sophisticated public finance tools to allow private individuals to take the initiative, because as we know right now in particular, government doesn't have a lot of cash on hand.
One of the key facilities we had was to create a nonprofit organization that would be effectively the developer and then ultimately the manager of the plaza.
Friends of Mint Plaza, which is a great organization, is providing programming, events on the plaza, such as the summer concerts, the weekly farmers market.
The Mint Plaza Farmers Market has about 8 to 10 vendors ranging from local, organic produce all around California. You know, if you're working and you need to come out for a lunch break, it's also a great environment just to get away from the stressful work environment. You want to come out, be surrounded by fresh food, be in a green environment, and just, you know, grab a coffee, grab a peach, you know, get a lunch, and it's all healthy, and it's just a good experience.
It's easy for us when I'm working over here. I like it.
This is a place that the people that live and work here and at all different incomes in this particular neighborhood now get to enjoy. This isn't just for wealthy people. This is generally a lot of single residency occupancy hotels. Low-income people get to enjoy this, walk through it, and really benefit from a great urban space.
We had several public meetings where we invited people to come and give their ideas for the place. We explained the opportunities and constraints of the site, and we took their ideas and developed several schemes that we then represented to them and had them vote on. It's a really successful public process. It really integrated with people's desires for the place.
We point to it as an example to show that this is highly compatible with urbanism and urban design in areas that are hardscaped and dense. This is very close to buildings, and there's actually an infiltration gallery here, so it really proves in concept what we're trying to make happen throughout the rest of the city.
We needed to negotiate a 3-foot change in grade from one end of the site to the other and meet all of the doorways down the site. The stormwater generally now flows overland to this slot drain that runs the entire length of the plaza. Underneath this zone is an infiltration bed that allows all of this water to be detained and then percolate back into the groundwater.
We've calculated and observed that we can infiltrate as much as 500,000 gallons of stormwater back into the groundwater right underneath our feet here, which is remarkable for a project that historically had zero infiltration. There wasn't a tree on this street.
Just the idea of having some kind of greenery down here is it's just nice. It's soothing.
As soon as Martin Building and Friends of Mint Plaza came to me, I knew all the proper people to get together right away to make this work.
This kind of really interesting, exciting project that builds economic value and regenerates public space is something that a lot of cities, a lot of mayors, a lot of planning directors are really interested in seeing implemented because they meet so many overlapping goals.
I love that it is a highly urban environment that has green infrastructure, and it's sort of not very obvious to people, and I think that that's something that is really exciting to point out when you come here, is it's not only a lovely place to be, but it's also highly functional and showing a great example of what can happen in a city.
Just working with everybody as a cohesive unit, it just made it run very smoothly, and it was a pleasure to see it come to a beautiful plaza like this.